This is Professor and Counselor Robert Alexander, and today I'm going to lecture on Chapter 8. Chapter 8 is the follow up negotiation. Follow up negotiation has to do with what to do after you do your interview, right? So let's go ahead and launch into it. Now, your learning outcomes for this chapter are number one, demonstrate the two-step follow up procedure, right? Apply the art of successful negotiation. Number three, understand the elements and making a sound career decision. And number four, negotiate once you have a job. Number five, manage the obstacles and frustrations in the job search. Now, the two-step follow-up procedure. The interview is not over until the thank you note is sent. Two thank you notes are better than one. Thank you strategy number one is the thank you. An email thank you note sent the day of the interview to show your immediate interest in the position. Thank you strategy number two is a handwritten follow-up. Follow the thank you with a note sent through the mail using different wording. Thank you notes when you've been turned down. Now, believe it or not, it's a good idea to send another thank you if you find out you were not selected for the position. As noted earlier, the person selected for the position may not work out, and you still could be considered for the position, right? So by sending this note, you show your spirit all fair in the workplace and your professionalism. Companies that are growing are going to need more workers. People retire and people move on, right? So therefore, anything you can do to network with the company is highly recommended. All right, as we come across our self-check number one. Now, applying the art of successful negotiation. Occasionally, towards the end of an interview, the hiring manager will say something that sounds like they want you. If you are fortunate, it will be obvious and sound something like this. We would like to make you an offer. Or it may be subtle like this. What would it take for us to get you to work for us? Be alert for these types of cues that the negotiation process has already begun. If you get the less obvious cue posed in the second scenario, make sure you follow this with a question to clarify that they are actually making you an offer, not just seeing what you want for a salary. If they are not actually offering you the job, you are not negotiating. You are still selling yourself. So answer that you are open or negotiable. If hiring managers affirm that they are indeed offering you the job, then the negotiation process has begun. Now, in key negotiation questions to ask, you want to gather more information before you accept. Ask the following. When would you like for me to start? How and when will my performance be reviewed? What are the promotion opportunities with this position? What are the benefits added to the position in terms of vacation, insurance, and other perks? Is this mileage reimbursement for commuters or parking benefits? Other questions to consider. Make sure you have your non-negotiable items in mind. Non-negotiable are a few items you must have in order to take the job. For example, if you need to be able to flex your lunch hour to pick up your child after school, then having that particular need met might outweigh the need to negotiate other benefits, right? You got to pick up the kids. So these two or three non-negotiable items become your line in the sand. You are saying that if the employer can't work with you on them, you are willing to walk away from the job offer. If you have more than two or three, then you may be walking away from some decent offers anyway. Now, making a sound career decision. Items you can negotiate are your responsibilities, right? Sometimes the responsibilities that they ask you for when you actually get there don't match what they were originally requesting on the job description. So you want to make sure that's clear. Your vacation time, right? Insurance paid, signing bonuses, yearly bonuses, promise reviews with salary increases, office assistance. Okay. Systemically weigh the alternatives. Use that 70-30 rule. It states that if the job offer has 70% of what you desire, advantages, and less than 30% of what you don't want, the disadvantages, then you may be in a ballpark for accepting that job offer. How to diplomatically ask for what you want. I'll show you how. So you got to make sure you have your negotiable items in mind. The non-negotiable items are the few things you have in order to take the job, right? For example, if you need a flex lunch hour to pick up the kid, your words are very powerful, and the ones you choose in negotiating make a difference. So you want to explain how your skills and experience are worth more, right? Especially if you come from a position where you made more money than the new position that they're offering you. Consider asking for a performance review in 3 to 6 months with an option to increase your salary and or bonuses. So get the offer in writing. It is reasonable to ask for a contract or to have the offer in writing. Once you accept the offer and its terms, it is reasonable to ask for that contract. One way to do this is to send a follow-up email as a thank you and to state what you understood to be the agreeable terms of the job offering. The hiring manager will respond to your email confirming your understanding or with changes. A handshake agreement is nice. However, in negotiation, it is important to have the terms of the offer in writing. This is more about memory than honesty. You may have negotiated a 3-month review with a salary bump, but if the hiring manager does not recall that part of the conversation, you will be sorely sorry. It is recommended that you stay. As we have discussed many facets of this position today, could you please send me the terms in writing so I can review them? Any business-minded person will appreciate your desire for details. Job offer acceptance letter. So most offers will be negotiated and verbally agreed upon over the phone. But once that occurs, send a formal job offer acceptance letter, right? Use the business letter format for this letter, restating the particulars of the offer. And remember that business letter format, it can be found on Word. Just look for the templates. Sometimes you can type in the search engine, business letter template. Use that same template and just put your information in the key parts. Use that letter to confirm the salary and your start date. If you have further questions, call the hiring manager or supervisor and ask them directly. Do not ask questions in your acceptance letter. Don't sell the farm yet. Okay, when you take a position, you are often under a review period for the first 3 to 6 months. While you might be relocating for this position, keep in mind your employer could decide your performance is not meeting the company's standards, thus ending your employment. While this is rare, one suggestion is to postpone selling your home during the review period. This is especially important if you would not have relocated had it not been for the new job. Rent an apartment until you have successfully met the probationary period. Juggling offers is one of the good problems in life. However, it could be a problem. You want to make certain you are making the best possible decision for you and perhaps your family. So, what is the best way to successfully juggle offers? What are you supposed to do if you receive an offer from one company while waiting for an offer from another? You can ask for more time to think over the offer. Do not explain why. Simply ask for an extension. How to turn down an offer successfully. Stay friendly and positive to all. View the interview as a networking opportunity with colleagues in your field. Be honest. Let the employers know in the interview that you have other options you are considering, but are very impressed with the company and would like to work for them. You do want an offer. Gather more information. Follow the preceding statements by finding out when the company will be making its hiring decision. Buy time. You can ask for more than 24 hours, but 2 weeks is not a good idea. Anything longer than that is not a good idea. You can tell the hiring manager you would like a few days to review the offer, and in that time, gather as much information as you can about the hiring time frame of other companies. You want to ask yourself, can you afford to turn them down? If you are offered a position and put them off, you may lose that offer, and the job you are hoping for may not even come. So make sure you are prepared for that to happen. Decline professionally. And what I mean by this is thank the company representative for the time he or she spent in interviewing you and the money if they flew you in, etc. Let the hiring manager know it was a difficult decision. You can state a direct reason for your decision, such as salary, location, or benefits. Ideally, you want to keep the door open, at least as a professional contact. Making the right decision. Now, making this decision, then make it the right decision. Write out the pros and cons of the offer before accepting. It is important to follow your instincts when evaluating an offer. Self-check 2. Negotiate once you have the job. Asking for a raise. Document your success. Provide specific examples of how you contributed to the organization. Timing matters. Turn the performance evaluation into a negotiation opportunity. Know the industry standards, the compensation levels for different fields. Managing obstacles and frustrations. When you are feeling rejected and down, that is not the time to isolate yourself, right? Because isolation can cause you to mentally replay all of your negative tapes and self-talk. It is also not the time to hang around people who do not believe in you or who would want to settle for less in life. These individuals might love you, but they are not helping you. Don't seek their advice. They should not get a vote in your career decision. In fact, limit your contact with them during this time. Instead, seek out and spend time with positive people who make you feel better about yourself when you are around them. Call them. Ask them if they would like to grab a cup of coffee. Let them cheer you on when you feel hopeless. They are out there. Job search rejection tips. The following are ways to keep your perspective in the job search. Remind yourself of the number of applications most companies receive for one open position. Remember, it is a numbers game. You need to keep it at it. You need to keep at it. And tell yourself, it is their loss, not yours. Have an expert in human services or other professional review your marketing tools to see what you can improve, right? I'm going to say that again. Have an expert in human services, right? Or human relations, human resources, or other professional review your marketing tools to see what you can improve upon. Work on your interview skills. Consider contacting a recruiter to help you search and prepare for interviews. Now, roadblocks, side trips, and detours. Get the support. Know what to expect. Does it mean that you have abandoned your goals if you have a plan B? Not at all. Having a plan B or a plan C gives you breathing room to know that you have a solution. You can continue to interview for your ideal job while you take a position that will pay your bills for now. So armed with the plan B or C, always remember the 11th hour principle as well. And the 11th hour principle is the idea that when things seem the bleakest in job search, it is a good sign, as the tide generally turns at this point. Chapter summary. We covered a lot in this chapter, right? But chapter 8, it had to do with follow-up and negotiation are often neglected, right? Follow up after the interview with the thank you and snail mail thank you, right? That's just a regular thank you through the mail, also known as snail mail. Negotiate an acceptable package utilizing the win-win approach covered in this chapter. Now, since we covered so much in this chapter, it's often a good idea to go back and review, since the information was very dense, right? And some of these terms that we used in chapter 8, we may or may not be familiar with. So it's a good idea to go back and familiarize yourself with some of these terms that you're just hearing for the first time, so that when they are spoken of again during your job search or during your interviews, they come to mind, right? I am Professor and Counselor Robert Alexander. I've enjoyed teaching and lecturing on Chapter 8.